Alrighty. Let's do this. Hello everyone. Today I will be sharing my thoughts on the EA NHL franchise and the state of the game. I was planning on making this video earlier already, but then the NHL 24 playtesting came out, so I wanted to see what that is like before making this. And actually a lot of the things are already somewhat addressed in the test version of NHL 24. Lots of people are freaking out about the playtest being a bad game, like this NHL sucks, this is the worst game ever. But we have to remember it is still in development, so we can't actually really say much about NHL 24 just yet. We'll have to wait for the final version to come out. Also, important to note at the start here that I will only be covering the gameplay side of things, so I will not be talking about stuff like, GM connected. Of course, I would love that to be in the game, but I will be mainly focusing on the gameplay side of things. So let's dive right into the things I would like EA to fix for NHL 24. The number one thing they have to address is goaltending, and more specifically, the ways to score in the game. In my opinion, like 90% of the gameplay issues were based on the goal scoring ways that were in the game. For example, a big source of frustration in NHL 23 was to do with the behind the net plays and the meta of skating around behind the net, that sort of stuff. I genuinely think that this is only an issue because of the lack of other ways to score. So because there isn't many ways to score from further out, this leads into this cycle where the defending player doesn't have to defend the further away attacking players, and this in turn makes it so that there isn't room in front of the net, and it just happens to be so that the only place really to punish that sort of like skill zoning way of defending is behind the net. The point being, they have to change the ways we score goals in the game to counter the play styles that we face in online games. So what should we do about this? First off, get rid of goals like the fast trap and this glitch goal, which is just ridiculous. Those ones I just mentioned should be countered with the goalies. And I know a lot of people are screaming at me right now, saying the behind the net passing play should also get removed. But this isn't a goalie issue in my opinion at all. This goal is actually all about the defensive AI, which makes it super difficult to defend against. But if this play is pulled off in game, I feel like it should go in on the goalie. So it's a defensive issue, not a goaltending issue. Getting rid of the goals from behind the net is one thing, but I think the more important step is actually to implement ways to score from further out. The main two things they should implement are further away snipes as well as one-timers, which actually the one-timers are kind of in the NHL 24 playtest. The current way of NHL 23 allowed players to just sit back on defense, and implementing these further away plays would eliminate that, so the players that sit just in front of the net would get punished. As a result, this should lead into more space in the offensive zone, as the defending team has to defend against these further away shots. And as a result of this more aggressive defending playstyle, this will open up chances in front of the net, which in theory should make the behind the net playing irrelevant. Can't stress it enough. I think the goal scoring ways that are in the game are easily the number one thing that they should be focusing on, as that dictates a lot of the other things that happen in the game. Of course, there's other things as well, so let's move on to number 2 on my list, and I would like to call this category dumb stuff. All the things that very clearly should not be in the game. I'm talking shooting through your own body, goalies leaving the post wide open, goalies freezing on the self-sauce, and also at this point the fast trap also kinda goes into this category. It is not like a glitch as much as the other ones, but I mean, come on. There was actually surprisingly many glitches like this in NHL 23. Maybe even more than there was in NHL 22, to be honest. So we'll see how they manage to actually fix this. I hope they get rid of all the ones I mentioned, because those are just like game-breaking things. I'm sure I forgot something as well. Moving on to category number 3, which is defending. My view on this category was really changed by the NHL 24 playtesting, as that game was really different to NHL 23 in terms of defending. Let's say that I found it very interesting what they have done in terms of defending. Hitting felt really good, especially with the new big hits and bumps being two different things. I really like that. Stick lifts were also really good, which I liked. I felt like they had also nerfed the poke checking, so this made for a really weird combination where it was like pretty balanced, I would say, because in the past the poke checking was the number one thing, but now I felt like hitting was actually way more effective than poke checking. I personally found aggressive defense really effective in that game, especially combined with the full pressure system. Just to avoid your opponents from getting the full pressure, you really had to play aggressively, which I really did like, not gonna lie. This is kind of a personal thing for me, but I would really enjoy them giving some more love to the defensive skill stick. I always thought that the defensive skill stick was a great addition to the game, because when you're using it, it's actually you controlling where your stick goes, not unlike the regular poke, where the game is just automatically poking it towards the puck. In its current state, it's kind of dead. Similar to that, I would really like them to adjust the pass interceptions on defense, because it still feels like it is very easy to just force passes through. There just doesn't seem to be much of a reward for great positioning, and as there's no button to intercept passes, it just feels super random when your player will pick it up or when he doesn't. We'll talk about this actually in my last category, which we are moving on to next. The previous 3 I think are the main 3 things that they should be focusing on, but let's go to the 4th category, which I would like to call fun stuff. So in this category, maybe the things aren't super important and serious, but basically here's 4 ideas I have thought about. Number 1 being random goalies. Think about it. In real life, you don't see a goalie play the exact same way every single time. This would drastically change the dynamics of the game, and I don't know, maybe it wouldn't work at all. But imagine this, maybe one time the goalie is standing 1 inch this way, another time he's standing 1 inch that way. So basically the shooter would always have to evaluate where to shoot it. This would change completely how the game is played, as in its current state there is these certain positions where both players know what type of shot can go in and so on. This would shake things up a lot, especially for competitive gameplay. Again, maybe this wouldn't work out at all, but that's why it's in the category of fun ideas. Number 2 in the ideas category. Please reward defensive positioning. I was talking about it earlier. I remember there was a time when you could take the puck away from your opponent just by standing on the puck, basically. You could take the puck away just by good positioning. I would love them to bring that back. And the other thing is with the pass interceptions. It would be so good to have some sort of a way to read the play and get rewarded in game for good positioning. Or better yet, give us a intercept pass button, something like that. Maybe implement the skill stick to where you can intercept passes manually with the skill stick, something like that. I would love there to be more manual defense. Alright, last thing on the fun ideas list, and this is huge for me. Make it a video game, please, EA. I feel like the gameplay has been driven towards this full simulation mode, which I don't necessarily hate that, but some of the things, man, like remember around like NHL 17 or something when you could just like do deeks? Remember that time? That was amazing. Just the smoothness of the gameplay. Yeah, it might not be realistic, like backskating in NHL 19. Okay, that was a bit ridiculous. But you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying we need some like smoothness to the gameplay. It doesn't have to be realistic. I would just love it to be a video game. Deking, shooting, hitting, which they actually did kind of change for NHL 24. Make those things super smooth. As well as, why is there still like bad goals in the game? What is that necessary? Is someone calling for that? It's a video game. Let us have like a highlight reel of hockey. That's the point. And so, please give me my saucer passes back, like this goal in NHL 21 GWC. Like, give me that back, please. Please do. So that's pretty much it. I'm sure I missed some things. So let me know what I missed. There might be like some obvious ones that I just didn't think of. So feel free to comment on stuff I missed, or stuff you disagree with, or stuff you agree with actually. Maybe someone agrees with me, never know. Or you can just call my opinions trash, that's also fine. But thanks for watching. That's pretty cool that someone was watching this video. You made it this far. That's pretty cool. As a side note, I will be streaming a lot of NHL 24 when the game comes out. So if that is of interest to you, you should go down in the description of the video, under right there. Click the link, go to my Twitch, follow me. If you're already following, you can also unfollow me. I don't know why you would do that if you're interested in the streams. But yeah, that's it from me, I guess. See ya.